get this thing kicked off, I've got Mark Gator Gates. He really doesn't need a introduction just because what you see is what you get, and it's like I said with Gator, it's what you see is what you get. He's going to tell it to you just how it comes out of his brain, from the brain to the mouth. That's what he's going to give it to you, and we're going to jump right into it because I don't think he needs much of an introduction other than the fact that he's got a brand he's built, an empire, self-made, and every day he's just clawing and scratching for more. So with that being said, Gator.
Turner, glad to be here, brother.
Good.
I'm so excited. You kicking this off. I'm going to kick it with you.
That's exactly right. All right. Well, so for those that don't know Gator, he's been in the car business his whole life. I think that was a generational thing. He is from L.A.
That's Lower Alabama. You know that? Lower Alabama.
Lower Alabama. Born in Tuscumbia, Alabama. Lives now in Huntsville, Alabama. He's got a car dealership. He's got a gym. He's ingrained as deep in the car business as one can get. The same thing with helping people in the gym business. And he's just like me, just about. He's just lived a whole nother life before I was even born in this whole genre, or I don't even know what to call it, industry. And so he's got a lot of trials and tribulations through his life and his experiences, and I've got a couple questions for him here today, and that's what we're going to talk about.
Let's roll with it, Turner.
All right, so I'm just going to kick it off with some of the questions that I've got. Obviously, we'll go from there. You and I talk all the time about all kinds of things. And one of the things that you said to me that always stands out is how there's Mark Gates that only a few people know, and then there's Gator Gates that everyone really knows. And so my question to you is, tell me who Gator is, and then tell me who Mark is. I want to know the way Mark thinks. I want to know the way Gator thinks.
Well, let's start with Mark.
Okay.
That'd be easy for me. Mark Gates is a young man that was born with dyslexia.
Okay.
And all through my life, I was so insecure being Mark Gates. And so, to me, to get to another level, I had to figure out how to overcome that with a personality. So, when I played sports, and I came into being Gator because Gator, Dad was called Big Gator, and I was Little Gator. And so it's a persona that I had to put on because I had to make it happen. So, that was just a thing that that you have to do. Mark Gates is the kid that knew he was different, but didn't know how different he really was. And the reason Gator made the work ethic come out.
Okay.
And when I say work ethic, that's grinding.
Tell me. I want to know. I want to know when you think of hustling, and you tell me all the time you're a certified hustler, and I know this, but in your mind, when you see someone else that's hustling, what are some of the traits that they have that makes them a certified hustler like yourself?
They don't have it like me.
They don't?
They ain't gonna allow it because I'm gonna outwork them. When they going home, I'm gonna keep working. I'm gonna outlast them.
What does that mean?
Don't go home till you win. And what that means is, when you finish your day, have you done everything you've done? Car business. If I ain't bought a car in a day, I gotta buy a car a day or more. But I will not go home till I buy a car. Make phone calls, whatever. Make it stop.
Same thing with the gym business.
Same thing with the gym business. Got to keep hustling.
Don't matter if it's a cold call. Don't matter if it's a walk through the gym, pick up a paper towel off the floor in the bathroom.
You never ever lose by working.
I agree with that 100%.
And so, probably not the smartest guy in the world, but I will tell you this: you can overcome a lot by work. Things just happen, and it's amazing how things happen. Just like I got it with you, Turner.
Yeah.
I seen you on social media. I said, I like this way this guy grinds. I've known you for a long time. What'd I do? Picked up the phone and done what? Called you. Said, I want to start training with you. I mean, really, your work ethic gravitated me to you.
And honestly, I believe that with myself and other people that, I mean, I've got a long list of those people, and you're one of them too. That when I see you working or I see them working, it's like, fuck, man. I'm not insecure about my work. I'm insecure about a lot of things, as we all are. But I will say that there's a lot of people out there. I'll call you and it's 9:30, and you're like, what are you doing? Fuck, just picked up a car, headed to the lot.
What'd you call me last night? What I was doing?
What were you doing last night? Hell, what was it?
Looking at real estate.
Looking at real estate. That's right.
9:30 at night.
And that's not
But
your.
just by somebody letting me know. But if I didn't do it today, it ain't important to me. It's important to me. If somebody tells me something, it's important enough to tell me. It's important enough to me to go look at it. Well, that's how people don't understand. It's easy to do if you just discipline yourself to do it.
What about this? I mean, you know how it is. We talk about cash all the time. Like, they call Gator. There's a 2014 Kia sitting right here on the side of the road with a for sale sign on it. You got the cash in hand. You go look at it right now.
Knock on the door and ask them and try to buy the car. Yes,
right
sir.
now.
Right.
And the thing is, if you wait on that for a week, or you say, hey, go send somebody else over there, they're not going to do the business. They're not going to do the deal like you're going to do it. And they, that deal may not be there in 2 or 3 days. But that's where I feel like when you say, I'm just going to work until I bought a car that day, or whatever it may be, that mentality is why you get ahead. And it's like all these influencers and people say all the time, that mentality over a week, and then over a month, and then over a year, you've left behind the pack. You understand what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, maybe left behind the pack, but it's people, just for instance, your age and our age is different. But if I don't stay in the younger generation, where am I going to be?
You tell me.
Be last. Won't be hustling anymore if I don't get there.
Let me ask you this.
Let me finish.
Okay.
Is that people, just because you're a certain age, don't mean you stop your work ethic. I'm going to kick back and retire. I'm going to kick back and retire when I'm 6 foot under.
That's right.
That's when I'm going to go to sleep. You know what I mean? So
I agree.
I just want people to understand it's just the work ethic. It's what I really strive on. Because if you're working, they got something to talk about.
You like giving them something to talk about, don't you?
Every day.
Let me see what else I got. So you've differentiated between Mark and Gator. Let me ask you another question. When you get home after a long day of being Gator, do you stay Gator or do you turn back into Mark?
I'm Mark Yates.
And what does that mean? What when you get home after, say you did your last car deal at 9:30, you don't get home till 10:15. Obviously, you're into the fitness and you're into loving the gym. But what does 10 o'clock look like for Gator at night?
10 o'clock at night, watching YouTube with bodybuilding or something else I love doing. Eating, preparing my food for the next day. My 6 meals a day. Cook when I get home. Relax. Just chill out, watch a little TV.
Smoke a cigar.
Smoke a cigar. Drink a little Kool-Aid.
That's right.
But just relax. I'm a night owl. I like to stay up late, and it's hard to get. But I get up early. Try to, but just to relax, unwind, shut all the phones off.
I think that's healthy.
Yeah, you got to.
You get to a certain point. I know that that's one thing that I don't do enough of is shutting the phones off. I think because we're in this modern era of like social media world, and so if someone posts something at 10 o'clock at night, or you post something at 10 o'clock at night, or you whatever it may be, you're constantly trying to check to make sure you're got the latest fad, the latest videos popped up. But I really think as hard as you grind during the day, shutting that phone off at night and just what I'm saying is your mind is boom, 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 boom all day long. So there needs to be, and I really think for someone like you and I think that we get when we finally go to sleep, we rest. But I really don't think the quality of our rest is there because our brain don't. I don't think our brain slows down near enough at night. Yeah, we might get 7 hours of sleep if we're lucky, but I still think that it takes a minute for your brain to slow down.
Right, and it does. It probably takes a couple of hours, 3 hours or so. But I had a life coach used to go to, and he always said, if you can't go home and you have to have that phone on, he said you position yourself as a beggar.
Tell me
I
what you
said, position yourself as a beggar. Well, if you're calling a man at 10 o'clock, ain't nobody gonna do no business at 10 o'clock. You know what I mean?
What'd you say to that?
I understood. So sometimes if you're doing a lot of business, and every time that phone rings, you answer the phone, you do whatever they ask. Well, they know you are. So you position yourself as a beggar. So you got to shut the phone and have some Mark Gates time.
That's right.
That's where I was going with that.
I agree with that.
So what you're saying is, if people are still calling you at 10 or 11 o'clock at night, and you know what they do for a living, they got plenty of time. The non-working people.
They got plenty.
Them the only son of a bitches that bother you. You know
Hey,
what I'm saying?
hey.
I mean, that's the bottom line. The non-working people tell you what you do wrong.
That's right.
Daddy always told me this. This is a great statement. He said, son, every man has the same size cowboy hat. But the man who's got the most cattle. And that's a big statement, who's got the most cattle. And that people who have great work ethic have cattle because they have the work ethic.
That's right.
You know what? I guess that's where I'm trying to go with that.
No, it makes perfect sense. I mean, I think that we see that a lot. All hat, no cattle.
All hat, no cattle. And that's the ones we want. That's the ones we like.
That's right.
Just have to work. You just have to be a little bit harder worker now.
Like I said, I'm a firm believer in that, and I believe that I am a firm believer in. The thing is, you've done this longer than me, and so you're way more established than me. But I do believe in the fact that if I work harder than them, longer than them, over a long period of time, it'll amount to something when I'm, say, your age.
You already got the work ethic. Anybody can bodybuild. Man, that bodybuilder, if he'll put his mind into what he put in bodybuilding, put it in work ethic. I mean, working a business
Outside
you can do anything. Anybody eat 6 times a damn day and do an hour of cardio.
Squat 500 pounds.
500 pounds.
I have racked my brain being a bodybuilding coach, a bodybuilding enthusiast, just pouring everything I have into the sport of bodybuilding to try to, you try to be a motivator, you try to be a big brother, you try to be a coach, you try to bring people up. And it's like, I have literally seen some of the strongest guys that I've ever known that would, and hell, I'm one of those. I don't mean the strongest guy. I just mean like there was nothing I was not willing to do to propel my success in bodybuilding. And at that time I was caught up, just like I think everyone goes through. You and I know a list of people that are so caught up in the sport of bodybuilding and how you're perceived in the industry, but every other thing about their life is, I don't really know how to say that, but it's lesser than.
Would it be fair to say you don't know how you look till you get your picture took?
You don't know how you look
till you get your picture took.
Explain that.
What that explains, everybody thinks it's all glamour and gold. You think you give them this big picture of how good everything is? No. What I mean by that is that everybody wants you to think you're working all this glamour and all the stuff you wear and all the stuff you got, right?
Yeah.
It ain't glamour. They want it. They want it, but they ain't getting it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
I hope you understand that.
You're saying who wants it?
I want it. You want it. But
You're saying
with the bodybuilders that want to be a bodybuilder but don't want to do what's on the piece of paper.
Right.
Well, we're going to get involved in bodybuilding, but people that are successful are driven in athletics. Usually, most of the time, they'll carry over in their business, being competitive, understanding why they're here, understanding the process.
Well, you would like to think.
They always shortcut. Everybody wants a shortcut.
All right, so my next question. what was your very first job? And I mean, what I mean by that is the first job that you had a boss. He didn't care who your dad was. He didn't care how you got there. He really didn't care what he paid you, but that was a job. You showed up. You got paid once a week, twice every 2 weeks. What was that? And what age was that?
14. I worked at Firestone. My mother took me to Firestone, drove me every morning, 6 days a week. I was 14 years old.
What'd you have to do there?
Change tires, unload the truck at 14. It was a hot job, but it was very educational for me. I knew I didn't want to change tires for the rest of my life.
Ain't that the truth?
But it was but the hardest job I ever had when I was 16, I had to sandblast 10 hours a day. Transmission set in my thing. I knew right then I wasn't going to do this neither. You know what I'm saying? So I knew I was going to. I started hustling then and washing cars and cutting grass and
anything you could.
And I understood I didn't want to work for that man. You know what I'm saying? They didn't work. I wanted to work for myself.
Well, let me ask you this: I hope you can remember back to this point, but when did it click? Obviously, that was a pivotal moment in your early childhood where you were like, I don't want to do that. At what point in the hustle, learning the hustle right there, did you realize? What I'm saying is when you were cutting the grass, getting paid on the side, washing cars, getting paid, was it at the end of one day when you had $150 from working that day where you were like, all right?
No, I knew. My dad always told me, you start a job, you finish it, you give a man 90 days, you work 90 days out. It's a summer job. You're not going to quit when you start.
So to that, what I'm saying is, at what point where you were taking on all these little odd jobs, did you realize, all right, hell, I could be my own boss. I can go hustle up work anytime I want to. You know what I mean? If you lost that job working at Firestone or sandblasting, you got fired. You knew what'd you know? Say you get fired. What did that mean to you?
At that point, if I got fired, well, I wouldn't want to get fired. I'd hope I'd done enough. I give a man, if you go to work, you give him 110% every day. You shouldn't get fired.
Right.
But I never got fired. But I never thought about it. But I knew I wasn't going to do it because I knew I always wanted to do something for myself.
Okay.
So when I was 16, that last job at 16, I was done. I wasn't going to do that anymore. I got me a lawnmower. And I'd cut grass. I didn't care if it was $5 or $10. I cut grass because I wasn't going back in that sand and sandblast. I wasn't going to do it 10 hours a day. Got 15 minutes every 3 times a day for 15 minutes each to go right. I don't like being trapped down like that. So I knew right then I needed to get out of that. So I didn't do it. I didn't ever do that again. So, and then I went to school and, it's just, I don't know really the point. I guess what you're asking me, when did it click? Well, I like money, and I knew that I knew that the harder I worked, doing something like that, I could control how much I was going to make. Right. And that was the beauty of it.
Right.
And I think that's what was when I was a kid. My dad was he had done cattle, hay. He was a hustler. He bought and sold. I mean, since I was 5 years old, I've been riding with him. So it was already in me. And I just...
Well, you just saw it every day.
I saw it every day, yeah. And so, and that's what he did. I mean, that's, he'd work another job, but he had to. He had 2 older brothers. And, so he had to. And after he got out, after supper at 5 o'clock, we went hustling.
Right.
Working, buying and selling stuff. It didn't matter. So I think that's when I knew that I knew.
See, that's the thing about when I was a kid. I was really busy being a kid, and I don't think enough kids get to do that nowadays because you got video games, you've got cell phones that I think are given to kids at too early of an age. But I'm not going to get on here and talk about the old days when you would get home from school and you'd ride your bike with your buddies until the street lights came on. And if you weren't home by the time the street lights came on, you had to have a good reason. But what I'm saying is, I think that when I was a kid, my mom would work 16-hour days. And so I didn't get to see a lot of my mom. And even on, she would work 16 hour days, 8, 7, 8, 9 days straight. And so I didn't get to see a whole lot of my mom. I knew she was working. I knew she was providing. And so I think that nowadays I find myself just working because that's all I know. Yeah, my dad's done the same thing. Ever since I can think back to when he started his business when I was in high school, and it's been like that up until now. He's kind of got a little bit more lax. He likes to play golf, but my mom, like I said, I would come home, she wasn't there. On her off day from work, whenever that might be, she wasn't like sleeping in bed all day to catch up. It was like she still had to keep things rolling. You know what I mean? And so I don't know. Like I said, I did get to see that, and I got to witness that, but I was so busy being a kid playing sports and trying to excel. And I do think that because my mom was always working, it made me want to work whatever I was doing. It didn't matter if I was building jumps. I wanted to be the biggest bike jumper. I wanted to be in sports. I wanted to make sure that I was the last one at practice every day. I wanted whatever coach said, I was going to do 10 more. Anyways,
Is it fair to say this, that her work ethic has made a lot of a part of you?
Oh, 100%.
I mean, being around people with great work ethic.
Absolutely.
It rubs off, right?
Absolutely.
Why now we don't, people, I mean.
Well, I think
I mean, where's that at now?
Well, the thing is, I think there's a lot of glam on social media of people talking about what they're doing all the time. But, we have this connection to the people. We have this connection through people on social media. Like, you get to follow them a day in the life, but you don't really get to see. They're just posting their highlights.
My days in life suck. How about yours?
It doesn't suck because you love what you do.
I love what I do, but some days you have better days than others. But you only show the good times.
That's right.
You only learn in the bad times.
Exactly. And I feel like a lot of people, if they're showing the bad times, it's like they want sympathy. And
I'm gonna give you something. Take your ass to work.
That's what a lot of people need to do.
I mean, am I right?
I agree.
I don't want to be right, but that just people need to when you're not working. What are you doing? Tell me what you'd be doing. What would you be doing?
All right. Well, that wasn't my next question, but I am going to ask you this since you brought that up. If you're not at the car sale, what days are you at the car sale?
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Selling cars on Tuesday.
And you, like I said, you're owning a gym. You're not necessarily running it, even though I know a lot of the time you're doing what owners do. If you're not at the car sale, where we've all seen your videos on social media. You're at the car sale, and that's Gator getting to be Gator.
That's Gator being 100%, 110% right there.
Right.
That's what I love.
If you're not at the car sale and you're not in the gym training, where do you like to like I said, and I don't mean 10 o'clock at night when you're tired and you just want to turn the phone off. What do you like to do? What do you like to do that just takes your mind off everything? I know you like to ride Harleys.
Yeah, I love what I do. I mean, I feel like I know that I love what I do. I'm on vacation.
Exactly.
You're gonna have. If I want to go to Florida, fly to Florida and buy cars, I'm on vacation. Because I'm on vacation and doing that.
Exactly.
The day's a vacation.
Right.
A lot of people can't do what we do. Punching the clock.
Right.
I ain't saying that's bad, but it's just not me.
Right.
And so, I don't really know how to answer any more of that.
That's all right. You like to ride Harleys though.
Oh yeah.
How many bikes you got?
Probably 7.
How many classic cars you got?
12.
You know what Gator likes to do when he's not, and none of those even.
But it's kind of like, yes, I'm still working when I'm in them. Too.
That's right.
Yeah, you're right. I guess I do like doing it.
I'm just picking at you. You like working out?
Well, that day we had a great workout.
Absolutely.
We wasn't going to talk about working out, but we had a good workout.
Right.
And I want people to know this right here, that the reason I do what I do with younger people because you push me. Because I know I'm going to lose when I'm in there. But I'm losing to you, but I'm getting better in my life.
Right.
Does that make sense?
100%.
And people are so afraid. I'm not scared of losing because I know it's a win column coming somewhere.
That's right.
And when you get that win column, then you'll have to step back, take a step forward, take a deep breath, and, let the dust settle a little bit. But that's why you're a great coach.